Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Kingdom Commander Class Rodimus Prime. And I did want to take a look at this figure. I never looked at it when it first came out because I didn't pick one up. I picked it up on sale for $35, which I think is a pretty reasonable price for this. We'll talk about price in a little bit. I wasn't super interested at first, but for 35 bucks, I figured I'll check it out, compare it to some other Rodimus Primes, and then that'll be a prep ahead of the commander that I need to look at for Legacy, Motormaster. So this is an interesting figure in that I bought it for $35, but it's a commander class, and it's going for, I think the retail is $80. And comparing this in terms of value, retail-wise, commanders, you could also pick up Skylynx for 80 bucks or Jetfire for 80 bucks. And keeping that in mind is kind of how I'm going to frame this review. So starting out, I mean, we do have a big old Winnebago trailer. We've got our hot rod up front that we can remove. It's a nice little alien sports car. I will say that just in general, I think I prefer Hot Rod's vehicle design to Rodimus Prime's vehicle design. They always have to give him this like extra junk in the trunk, and I feel like Hot Rod himself is a smoother, more aerodynamic vehicle, and that's something, it just looks like a better racing vehicle. He does roll by himself. That's kind of nice. The trailer, it rolls by itself. When you put them together, I note that there does seem to be, and he does kind of just jam in there kind of nicely. I dig that. The pipes not connecting is a little annoying. That like it being this like fake connection is a little annoying. It doesn't look great from all angles. It seems overly long. It seems like they stretch this out to try and just justify it being a commander class instead of a leader. If you notice, while I'm rolling, this wheel doesn't roll. The others seem to. On this side, this kind of rolls intermittently. So these two wheels being so close together and these wheels actually dropping a little lower than these means that these wheels don't spin. I also note that they're all solid black. I kind of wish that they had been painted silver. The rest of the paint here seems pretty nice. I like the flame tampograph here. I like the flame and stuff on the front of the car. Your orange and yellow here on the maroon. That looks nice. It's just a little stretched out. I do want to do size comparisons. I'm not doing a size comparison to Optimus Prime or Ultra Magnus. This is a commander class. It looks big next to them. We've already seen that before. I do want to do a size comparison. Here is Power of the Primes. There we go. So here is $50 versus $80, and there you see you get another 2 inches of trailer, apparently. And then here is my Protector, my current Rodimus Prime. And here you can see this is obviously a third-party add-on trailer, but I kind of like that this is smaller. I do like that this is smaller. I like, this like just seems like big for the sake of being big. I like that this is compact and it turns into armor and all this stuff. Comparing this, and it starts out with a hot rod, which is neat. Comparing this to this toy, to me, just kind of brings up the shortcomings of this toy. But, you know, it is big, which I guess is nice. And these pieces, if I squeeze it in the wrong place, they do fall off. But we'll ignore that for now. But yeah, overall, I don't have the Studio Series hot rod. I do have a Titan's Return hot rod that I've got as a mask vehicle with some lovely stickers on it. So here you can see kind of, if we want to take this off, there you can see kind of them together. You know, Rodimus Prime is nice and big. Same thing over here. We got, and here again, I like that on this figure, things actually did attach. You have to come in here and split things out to get your vehicle mode out. I think this comes, there we go. And same thing on this side. And then we can, I like all the attachment points here. We can see kind of, again, these two are hot rods. This is a Rodimus Prime by himself. But you can see kind of there that sort of size comparison. I guess if I'm doing all this stuff, then I should pull out Hot Rod from his trailer. So there, if we take the trailers away, we can see, you know, Hot Rod versus Rodimus Prime. And the Studio Series Hot Rod, I think, is about this size point. We can collapse these wheels back in. But about that size point. It might be a little smaller. I did take a look at it in a review. But there we can see, you can see what I'm talking about, where, like, it just being sleeker helps. Like, it's like they added a backpack on purpose. I don't quite understand why this shape is the way it is. I guess there's details on the back of the character they wanted to get right. But to me, it just makes this alt mode look worse compared to all the rest of these. I think just that sort of aerodynamic wedge shape helps out a lot. But we'll get our hot rods out of the way, focusing up again on Rodimus Prime, and by itself it rolls just fine. It's got pipes that are painted. It's got a nicely painted front, little paint accents on the sides. We got our big wedge on the back end, and again, this is like Rodimus Prime's wedge, so it's bigger than just Hot Rod's wedge. And we've got this trailer here. Now that we've got them split up, here's where I'm talking about the value here. This is essentially, I feel, a Voyager figure in both size and transformation. So this is like $35 it should be, maybe $40 these days. So that means this trailer should be worth $40 to get the value we're looking for from this toy. And this is the part where I think it fails. Comparing it to Skylynx and Jetfire's armor pieces and stuff like that, it just doesn't do a whole lot. These pieces collapse in. There's a spring there. We can open up here. There's some storage up here. We've got ports on the sides and on the top. We can open up and drop down a ramp, and the ramp does have a nicely painted air connection piece, but the air system has been abandoned and no one cares about it, so, you know, who cares? We can open up this case up top, and we've got plenty of ports on both sides. We've got Rodimus Prime's gun over here. We've got a sword. Again, nicely painted. We can stick those to the side. And then we've got what can be opened up to reveal the full, like, you know, all the different effect pieces. And we do have plenty of effect pieces. That's not even all of them. I think I've got another one laying down here somewhere. We'll take them, set them to the side for now. We've got a tray at the bottom here that can slide out for more effect pieces down here. And yeah, so this is just like a big box. It comes with this turret, which you can pull up, and that seems neat enough. You can pull out little armor pieces. It can spin. It is attached on a 5mm port, so you can flatten that piece out, bring out this section here, move this turret all around, and, you know, it's nicely painted enough. It's got handles and that stuff. But this to me is not worth $40. If you know, I'm a parent trying to choose a toy to grab their kid for Christmas, I think Jetfire and Skylynx, Jetfire just got reissued, Skylynx is coming out again. If I'm looking at this $80 price point, that's just so much more bang for your money than this big box. I feel like because it doesn't transform significantly on its own, it doesn't include any, like, play pattern. Like, if this was a full base mode that could interact with Titan Masters or Micro Masters, or I don't know, it transformed into like a bigger armor set like the Power of the Primes, like, that is interesting play. This by itself feels like this, compared to Jetfire and Skylynx, which are commanders that are really fun big toys, Rodimus Prime feels like a commander that is here to be a collector's figure versus a toy, and I think that's where At the $80 price point, I cannot recommend this, and I haven't even gotten into like the transformation and stuff. $35, like sure, $35, sure. You get this extra piece of plastic that takes up place on your shelf, but this is a nice $35 Voyager. It's got its issues, and we're going to go ahead and get into that transformation now. Actually, I lied. Before we do that, let's talk about the blast effects. So we do get a bunch of different blast effects here. These side ones, these like flamey, black flamey ones, they can go on the back of our vehicle mode, like so, and that seems neat enough. I really like blast effects in general. I think for this figure, I feel like they're trying to be used to kind of justify that Commander price point, and they didn't turn out great. You can see here, I've got all sorts of like mixing in terms of the plastics. I've got a bunch of black plastic smudges on my light blue blast effects, which is disappointing. You can, put flames on the back of the Winnebago, which is neat, of all sorts of different sizes. You basically have, two of these like big triple section pieces that you can build out. You've got 3 of the tiny tips of them. You've got this piece for the Matrix, which we'll talk about. So they're fine, but it's not something that excites me as much as it used to. Again, if you're thinking $35 for this guy, that's pretty awesome. But yes, let's actually do transformation for real. So, overall, I think I like the transformation for this guy. We're going to start out by coming in on the back end underneath the fin, flipping back this red section, coming all the way down, and it kind of re-tabs on the side here. Same thing on this side. Come in, pull that out, flip it all the way down. Then we can come in on this section and lift it up. It's tabbed in at 3 sections. This back tab goes in the slot here, and there's 2 tabs on the sides. So it does fit together pretty securely. That's pretty nice. Come in, lift that up, flip the whole section around, and kind of sit it up top for now. Then we're going to come in, and we are going to separate out the pipes on each side, which separates out his arms. And we can do his legs first or last. I think I'm going to do them first just to get him right for his Rodimus mode standing up. Flipping out the feet on each side. Coming in on the back, there's a tab on this black section that goes into the wheel. Pulling that out, splitting the legs apart. This skirt piece will constantly pop out on my figure. I'm going to leave it to the side for now. We can accordion out on a double joint this black section, which brings the length of the leg to proper length. And then we can come in, and it's a little hard to make out, and this part's a little annoying to me, but we push down on the wheel. There we go. The pushing down is not the annoying part, but pulling it up is annoying, and it seems like it doesn't do something major, but we push down on the wheel, and it lets us, there's a double joint on this section, pulling this maroon section through, and there's a hole to put that wheel through, which does involve flexing the plastic. So if we can't push the wheel far enough to not flex the plastic, I don't quite understand the point. It does feel like it's a thin piece of plastic that will break over time. And that is one leg done. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Separate, pull this black piece out, stretch the leg out, push down on the wheel, fold that in. Again, there we go, double joint, fold it in, stretch the plastic out, and then clip in the back of the calf. And here we can see kind of how tall-ish he's going to be. Coming in on the front, I'm still going to leave that piece down because sometimes they do come off. This side, it's a quality thing. I don't think it's a design thing. This side seems a lot more secure than the other. We can flip around his waist, pulling out the arms to the sides and separating out the windshield from the front of the car. Coming in, these pieces also come flying. We'll see if they happen this time, but we can fold both of these sections in, folding out, and he's kind of hovering out in front of his body for a second. Now this section, these 3 connections here, I think I hate on this figure, but we'll see if they want to cooperate with me. So this black section we can fold in, and you can see there's a double joint, and then we can squeeze really, really hard to get this to connect. It should be double folded in properly. Sometimes it wants to slip out of position. Come on. I'm going to do this on camera. This has been the part of the review that I'm afraid will take the most takes. Yeah. Trying to make sure this are actually lined up. There's this tab here, and there's a slot through the gray piece here, and just trying to make sure they're lined up and getting enough force, because it wants to rotate, makes it really, really hard. Can I bash it down into position? No. Getting that windshield maybe out of the way. And it's really just, I have found it's just like, I just gotta squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and eventually it gets there. I think I'm just gonna leave this in, because this is super frustrating, and I don't know how they expect kids to do this, right? This is Generations, but this isn't like Studio Series. This is, there we go. This is the Generations War for Cybertron line, which was essentially, right, for a while, the equivalent of the main line. This should be, like, kids should be able to do this, you'd think, right? I mean, yes, it's not like Cyberverse or what is it now? Earthspark. But I struggle to imagine like a 10-year-old coming in and getting this correct. There we go. Yeah. Frustrating. It's frustrating. Okay, so with those two pieces done, we are going to pull this windshield back and give the whole assembly on the shoulders a spin, because it does have a swivel here for transformation. Gets his shoulders the right direction. And with that in the right direction, we can bring up this assembly, up, and it kind of just clicks into place here. Up top, there is a neat part of the transformation. We have things closed up on the chest. We can push down on these tabs to kind of give his chest a bit of curve, which is nice. And then we can come up on this windshield assembly. Hopefully that is on camera. Come up here and give that a big squeeze. There we go. Again, a hard squeeze to do, and then this part I can never get lined up right. There is a double joint back here. We're dropping this down as low as it can go to try and get these three tabs into this slot. And again, this is transparent plastic. This should be carefully handled, but I feel like you can't carefully handle it and transform it. All right. So there we've got the general bot mode. We got to finish out the arms and the shoulders. The shoulders, wheels, they can open up, and then you squeeze them in, and they close. I guess it locks it up, and it looks a little cleaner, but to me, this is very much like, what is the point? Like, this is adding parts count and complexity to me, to very little value. And that's what I want to talk about, is like the value in this toy. Yes. Is this fun? Is this like interesting transformation? It doesn't, like that part is kind of interesting, but it doesn't, to me, accomplish like making the transformation more fun. I guess it makes it look more screen accurate, but this is not Studio Series Rodimus Prime. This is War for Cybertron Kingdom Rodimus Prime. So like, do we need screen accuracy? Is that like what we're looking for in every bit of the Transformers toy line? I think I would have preferred a simpler transformation that, you know, still resulted in a fun transformation, just less fiddly bits. And then, yeah, now that everything is essentially done, we can bring this section and put his hip skirt back on. And here is Kingdom Rodimus Prime in his robot mode. And like overall, I think he looks pretty good. I kind of hate that head sculpt. It feels very much like he's an old man. I don't know. I guess that's like he is supposed to like look visually older in the movie. But if this is Kingdom Rodimus Prime, like he doesn't need to look like the movie, and he just looks old. He just looks like an old man. Color-wise and everything, he does look nicely painted. He is nicely tall. I guess let's do some size comparisons. Like I said, this is, like, to me, proper Voyager class. Here he is against Titan's Return Hot Rod with the stickers as a mask vehicle. You know, he definitely stands head and shoulders above the deluxes. He is a little closer in size, but still bigger than the core Hot Rod in the Power of the Primes mold. So there you can see kind of the four of them next to each other. By himself, like, I think it's a pretty neat figure. I think if I had gotten this for the 35 bucks and I didn't have to worry about the trailer, I'd probably still recommend this, with the caveat that there are frustrating parts of the transformation. But to take this from 35 bucks and say, okay, now it's 80 with the trailer, is a hard recommendation. But yeah, so like I think he looks really good. He's well proportioned compared to the other guys. I still really like this design just in general. I think that slaps. But in terms of him being like a hot rod, there's other Rodimus Primes. There's other Rodimus Primes we can compare it to in a little bit. First, let's do some articulation stuff. So we do have a double jointed neck, which is nice. It can, you know, bop it there. Can look up. Can't look down so much because of his collar, but you can get, you know, a good flying pose. I do like the double colors here, the red and the maroon here. Shoulders go out, or go 360 almost, except for his fins. Just getting in the way of back kibble. They can go out that far, which is a little limited and a little unfortunate. There is bicep swivel here. So you can, you know, work the shoulder up to get something. There is a double jointed elbow, which is nice. He does have individually articulated finger, and then the forearms, or sorry, the three other fingers are kind of a double joint. Can I get that? You can see the pins there, but again, getting the little pieces of plastic to bend there, you can see that kind of double jointed. Getting these sections to fold is a little tough. What if we give him his sword and then get him to curl around? There we go. So yeah, he can hold his sword pretty naturally, which is nice. Same thing with his gun. Open up that fist. Again, just the complaints I have here are just related to, like, how fun is this to mess around with? It's just a little bit on the not fun side of things. He can't do the full splits, and if you go too far, you're going to put pressure on this skirt and move it out of the way. He can twist at the waist. He does have kind of, not quite an ab crunch, but I guess moving his backpack around, you can, like, simulate a little bit of that ab crunch behavior. He does twist at the thigh. He does have a double jointed knee, which lets you get extra bend in, which is nice. You can bend in two different locations to get extra curl in the knee. There goes the skirt. Yep. Again, teeny tiny piece goes flying. This can be fixed with future floor polish, but it's annoying that it has to be done. And then he's got ankle tilt. He's got ankle tilt forward, all that stuff. So, you know, you want to get him in a deep pose. You can. I think it's just a little on the delicate side. But, again, if this was just a Voyager, I'd say, hell yeah, this is, like, pretty good value for a Voyager figure with what it can do. But the trailer, calling this 80 bucks and having to deal with, there we go, that just came loose right now. That just makes things a little more annoying to deal with. There we go. But yeah, I mean, he does look really good. If that's all you're looking for, great. Oh yeah, this back piece wants to come undone all the time. But to mess around with, he's a little less fun. He's nice and poseable, but just a little less fun to mess around with. And I guess we'll talk about, before we do our size comparison, he can open up his chest. He does have a matrix of leadership there, and it can be removed. There we go. Can come right out. You can fix on this effect piece to give the matrix that glow effect, which is neat. I do dig that. I don't know that it can. It takes up the spots that the matrix needs to, like, go back in. So I don't think you can put. Let's see. Can we put the glow effect piece back on while it's in his chest. It doesn't seem to want to sit there. It's that orange collar piece seems to want to be in the way. But that's still neat. This piece wants to come up every time I like mess around with it. That's a little annoying and fiddly. Again, looks good, has blast effects and all that stuff that we normally do. I kind of wish the sword had some sort of effect. But as is, it's a strong looking toy, and for 35 bucks, I don't think I have any problems not recommending it. For 80 bucks again, well, let's do the comparison. We'll talk about that. So here is Rodimus Prime, and we'll compare him to his brethren. I think the first comparison we should do is Power of the Prime's hot rod. So this is what's interesting to me, is I think when we're discussing value, right, everyone's perceived notion of value and what they find important in a figure is different. I like a big toy that I can play with and is chunky, and like I really like, for example, the sensation of ripping off an arm. Come on. Like, that's nice, and then putting it back on, that's a really good click. Oop. I like that a lot. I like the size and the presence and the menace of this figure. So for me, $50 for this was just fine. Whereas if I was paying $50 for just this, I'd be annoyed. And since I personally don't see value in this trailer, to me, like, this trailer, right, the hole isn't big enough for you to put a deluxe in here. So it's not really like you're not carrying, you know, a deluxe car in here, even if you move the turret on the inside, that sort of thing. It's just a chunk of plastic. It doesn't, to me, there's not enough here. Maybe if it had some sort of base mode, like a proper base mode, not just like it folds out, like that's fine and whatever. But if it had a proper base mode, the turret itself, like that's nice. I do like that. But then the turret comes out and it's like, okay, it's a turret. What else can it do? Whereas I think just the value of like getting the little guy, it's a really fun to turn him into the big guy. I like that. $50 for this versus $80 for this, to me, is just a huge value proposition. And I think this has gotten more expensive. But nowadays, if you can't get this on sale and you're on eBay or on the internet, I think you can still find the original hot rod for the Power of the Prime's hot rod for sale. I was looking online and I saw like $75 to $85. So if you're spending about the same amount of money, I just think this is a more fun toy to play with. It's more fun to transform. It's not as frustrating. I like I know people don't like the shoulders, but I kind of dig the weird shoulders. I like to play with it. I like to transform it. This, I don't have a ton of fun transforming. The other thing, the more direct, like, I guess this is two official Hasbro products, right? But if we were to compare two, like, hot rods that have the turret pieces, compare this. Here we have, you know, this is all trailer here. This is, again, Fans Projects Protector. And let me get that out of the way. Let's put Protector in here. When I first bought Protector, this was 80 bucks. I do believe that price has increased. I think if you're trying to get an official Fans Project Protector, now this is 150 bucks. I don't know that I'd spend $150 on this add-on kit, but I know there are knockoffs out there, and if Fans Project, I think, is no longer like a company, so I don't think you're hurting anyone by buying the knockoff. And if you pick up the knockoff, like I purposefully picked so my colors don't match. I like the idea of the bright red bot and then the maroon armor pieces on top. But you could get like better matches in colors depending on the core robot that you pick. When you pick up the core robot for $15 and then the knockoff armor set for 50 bucks, they're about the same size at this point. I like the styling here better. I really like transforming the armor pieces. This leg transformation is real neat. You come in, you fold things out. I love that, like, this section here is the back of the trailer, right? It forms up into a wedge in the back of the trailer. But then you come in and you flip it and you invert it, and all that maroon now becomes a lot of black. It just looks really, really cool. It adds articulation to the figure. I still think I'd recommend this if you're picking this up for $65 with the original toy, and because this hot rod nowadays you can find the classics hot rod mold for pretty cheap, as long as you're not getting like the Henkei version or some exclusive version. Getting that and then getting the knockoff for $50. You get this cool like saw scythe with it. You get a gun add-on. You get a Target Master. This Target Master comes with it, and I don't like this Kingdom Hot Rod not having a Target Master is annoying, especially because we did have a Battle Master. Again, it's just like in terms of play pattern and stuff, what do you have more fun with? For me, both of these figures I have more fun with than this figure. Now that being said, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. Just like the Ironhide, people were talking about, opinions. People disagree on stuff, and that's totally okay. Some people just want like a accurate Ironhide. Some people just want an accurate Rodimus Prime. And for them, this figure it might be worth it. I still don't know that it's worth $80, but it's worth $35 for sure. And on top of that, it's probably worth it if it's free. And this one, this Hot Rodimus Prime is free because I'm giving mine away. I'm going to keep this one. I like the Fans Project set. I like everything it does. This Hot Rod is a giveaway for today. So normally I do a week-long giveaway. In this case, I'm doing a 1 day because I got another video that needs to come out. You know what? Yeah, a 1 day giveaway. And the question of the day is just, do you... So what I was thinking in terms of Commander Class Rodimus Prime, what would really make me happy? I'm going to throw up a picture here. There was this like Rodimus concept that was him turning into like a big truck with an alt mode and things like that, and it looked really neat. And I think my question of the day is just what character, and we had a lot of suggestions from Power of the Primes. What character do you think could work if they did a Commander class version where they came with a Deluxe or Voyager toy and then like some sort of massive add-on kit? And what would that add-on kit need to do to be $80 worth of value to you? For me, trailers I don't think are worth it, but there's probably different add-on kits out there that like different upgrades that would be neat. For me, if we had gotten Rodimus Prime and it was like that second version, that second concept Rodimus Prime, and it was a trailer that turned him from this guy into that other thing, that would have been really cool, and that would have been worth it. So again, answer down in the bottom, down in the comments. What would you hope to see in a future Commander that would be a Voyager-ish toy that had enough add-ons to make it worth $80? And I will pick a random winner, and I will announce them during tomorrow's video, because I'm doing daily videos for the next 2 weeks. So during tomorrow's video, I'll announce the winner, and we'll see who it is, and it'll be great. All right, that's it for today's review, everyone. Bye. Have a great day.